Hi, I'm James Thomas and I'm going to talk you through some of the things that you can do with my program VersaText. When I say my program, I designed it and Veet Beza programmed it and named it. We open VersaText by going to my website, versatile.pub, and clicking on VersaText. After clicking on VersaText on the home page, you arrive at the home page of VersaText. The input field contains some instructions. Paste your own text here, or you can use some of the preloaded sample text by clicking on their titles below the input field. During the presentation, we will be using some of these sample text to demonstrate various features of VersaText and various features of the English language. The Info button takes you to a page with an overview of the program and links to some extra resources. Now we are ready to play. But before we do, just a quick note about working with texts. Texts are at the top of the hierarchy of language, which is in the middle of this diagram. And when we are doing text-based skills work in extensive or wide reading, for example, we are working with text top-down. In intensive reading, on the other hand, we are exploring the bottom-up elements of the four systems that the text consists of, as you can see on the right. Every text has its register and genre, which has influenced the grammar and vocabulary and functional language choices that the speaker or writer made when creating the text. And just a quick note about how the term register is used here. Following Michael Halliday, register consists of three elements: field, tenor, and mode, each of which influences our linguistic choices. Topic-based vocabulary relates to field. Our choices of functional language, as we saw in the hierarchy of language diagram, are particularly influenced by the tenor and the mode. So now we can play. We're going to start with an article from the BBC News site as an example. It is one of the preloaded sample texts in VersaText. We clicked on the title of the text below the input field and then on the word cloud button above the input field. And this appeared. This can all happen live in front of the students, or it can be screenshot and copied into a presentation or a color printed worksheet. Plenty of questions can be based on a word cloud. All good pre-teaching stuff. If the students are seeing a word cloud for the first time, ask them what it is, where the words might have come from, what the size and the colors might indicate. Then ask general impressions they get from the word cloud about its topic, time, place, etc. One of my favorite questions is HDYK. You can usually elicit from the students that this stands for how do you know? The students then have to justify their answers, which makes for a very sound discussion. Then you can pose questions about the genre and register. It's not necessary to use these terms, though it doesn't hurt. So you can ask, what do you think the purpose of this text might be? To tell a story, describe an event, etc. And with the register, who are the authors? Who are the readers? Who is it written for? Do they know each other? Is this likely to be spoken or written, etc.? Now for students, it's all conjecture, of course, and based only on the evidence of the words they can see. But the point is that the students are looking at the words and trying to answer your questions. One piece of evidence can be found in the word said, and a discussion of modal verbs can also lead to tentative answers. Now that the students have looked at the keywords from some full text perspectives, we can delve into the actual. We can ask the students if they can find any likely word pairings from the word cloud, such as any of these. And we can also use the word cloud for pronunciation. we can ask the students to copy words from the word cloud into a syllable stress table, which will focus their attention on the pronunciation of the keywords that they will be working with. For more information and examples of syllable stress tables, see the website/SST. Under the word cloud, there are 10 buttons called Words to Show. You can click on the first button to see a word cloud of 10 words only, click on 20 to see 20, etc. How much can be gleaned from just 10 or 20 words? Remember that more words are more data, and more data should mean more information. Information about the content. At what point does the genre of the text emerge? At what point can we say that a text is probably academic, or probably written communication between friends, or probably an objective, informative text? This is something teachers and students can play with. Now, there is another fascinating feature of text which can be explored using word clouds, and that is topic trails. Every text has 3 or 4 or 5 topics running through it. Several topics weave through text like trails weave through a forest. One of the sample texts in VersaText is called Wangaratta, the name of the town where Nick Cave grew up. Indeed, this text is by him, and you can see that there are words and phrases related to the 4 topics listed at the top. For example, everything highlighted in green is related to the town topic, everything in yellow to feelings, etc. For more information about topic trails, see the website/topic trails. Topic trails can also be observed in word clouds, which is a great use to put word clouds to. This is the word cloud of a text about VersaText and CLIL. You can download the PDF from the website/VersaText info. In this word cloud, there are words related to language, such as vocabulary, grammar, sentence, and to education, teacher, learner, study, etc., and to cognition, relationship, order, form, and there are all-purpose words like case, set, part. One of the features of VersaText is that you can see any word in its co-text simply by clicking on it in the word cloud. For example, I clicked on song in the Wangaratta word cloud, and now I can see all of its uses in the text. These pages of sentences or sentence fragments are known as Concordances. So, co-text refers to the words to the left and right of a word in a text. So we have quick keywords in co-text. The lines in a concordance are in text order. And you can click on the left and quick and right context buttons at the top of the concordance to sort the lines. When the concordance lines are sorted, they reveal other words and structures that might co-occur with the target word. This is very important when you're teaching topic-based vocabulary. And when you task students with observing and noticing, you are teaching them what questions can be asked that they can learn from, as well as how to answer them themselves. Using the concordancer, the students can find out if any of their suggestions for multi-word units do actually occur in the text. The students can see if their suggested combinations are in the text or not, so it's not necessary for the teacher to provide the answer. The students can then explore the co-text of these multi-word units. The concordance on the left here shows the lemma learn, and on the right the word form learning. For some content, this can be really telling. As we read or listen to a text, we accumulate ever more information about the key words. This makes the concordance a record of how the author controls or determines how we experience key ideas, how our understanding of key ideas develops as the text unfolds. The 3-column headings can be clicked on. While this destroys the text order, it reveals patterns in the usage of the target word. We see recurring, compound words, collocations, and colligations in particular. The top screenshot here shows the concordance sorted by right context, so we can look for any patterns of normal usage. The types of patterns will depend on whether the ing form is a gerund, an adjective, a continuous verb form, or part of a compound. And this is, of course, another task for the students. If it is a verb, what are its subjects and objects? If it's a noun, what adjectives and verbs collocate with it? The lower screenshot shows the concordance sorted by left context, so this is where we might see modal verbs with full verbs and auxiliary verbs with past participles, articles with nouns, and lots of etceteras. The answers to these questions are little chunks of meaning. Let me say that again. The answers to these questions are chunks of meaning. And now for something a little surprising. Punctuation is telling. Choose punctuation as you see here, and you will see punctuation in the word cloud. Then, if you click on the full stop in a word cloud, you can see how all sentences begin. Do they begin with noun phrase subjects, or with adverbial phrases, adjuncts of time, manner, place, etc.? And are there any noteworthy conjuncts and disjuncts among them? This might reveal something about the genre and register. We can observe some rather interesting things from this. What might students learn from observing commas, inverted commas, and dashes in action? Okay, and now for something a little more traditional. Another feature especially useful for teachers is the Hide Quick button. This particular concordance was made by clicking on the VVG tag of the Wangaratta text. VVG is the tag for lexical verbs ending ing. The meanings of all tags are listed on the Versatex info page. This creates a gapped quick concordance, which can be used for obvious reasons. You can gap anything that you can make a concordance of. It might be a whole concordance of the same word, or of the lemma, so that students would have to write in the correct word form. If you click on the sentence button, you will see full sentences instead of the quick view. The sentences will be gapped if you have clicked on Hide Quick. And now it's time to look to the stars. We're going to make a word constellation. Here is the word language from a text about the value of having a study buddy. It can be found on the Versatile website /studying alone and not. We are now going to focus on the words that associate with it, which is an important step in helping students convert their passive vocabulary to active. And this is something we need to do when teaching the keywords of a topic or a subject. Now we have a beautiful representation of the keywords partners as they occur in this text. Could your students do this? You and they would need to be certain that there were benefits for doing so. Now let's see what Versatex Profiler can do for us. The Profiler shows statistics about the whole texts and provides categorized lists of words. Here we have the most frequent 1,000 words in English, the second most frequent 1,000, the academic word list, and words not on the other three lists. So we can see the proportions of these types of words in the text. Down below we have Readability Statistics, and at the bottom we have an estimate of the CEFR level of a text. Over here on the right, we have a pie chart showing the relative proportions of each part of speech. Nouns are almost always the most frequent, verbs are almost always the second most frequent, and when they're not, it tells us something about the genre of the text. Then down below, we've got some general statistics about the text, the number of sentences and words and characters, etc. We can use this data to answer a question, such as, Here we have some excerpts from 3 texts related to Harry Potter in various ways. The question is, which of these texts is academic? Now, the answer can be fairly easily gleaned from reading the first couple of lines, but the text statistics are data that provide us with fairly conclusive evidence. Academic word list words in the blurb only account for 2.33% and 2.44% in the fan fiction. But in the essay, 11.31% of the words are on the academic word list. Also on the profile page, we have word lists. Below the tables and charts at the top of the profiler, you will see word lists. These tables contain all of the words in the text. They are grouped into the bands that we saw on the previous slides, and each band is subdivided into parts of speech. The text-specific words have their nouns divided into common nouns and proper nouns. Every word in these tables is clickable, so if you wish to create a concordance of a word which does not appear in a word cloud, you can click on it in these tables and then you will have your concordance. If you click on the Show Counts button, that will put a little number beside every word in the table to tell you how frequent it is in the text. So that was at least 10 language learning activities that you and your students can do with VersaText. I trust you can see how we can guide students to learn language from language. For more information about other videos related to VersaText, the VersaText book and the VersaText e-learning course for teachers, see the information page. Thank you for your attention.